Hello and welcome to another video from Hardwarecheck.eu. In this video we will check out the specifications and features of the new cooler from Raijintek, the Leto. As you can see, the box is quite plain and on the smaller side. It shows pictures of the product on each side. On the back side it has the specifications, and here on this side you can see there are actually three versions of this cooler, so that is why it's called Leto W RB, and this is the Leto W, the white version. R stands for red and B stands for blue. So let's go ahead and unbox this cooler, which is pretty easy. As you can see, it comes with a sticker, which it was very easy to remove. When you open it, first thing you find are some bags, sealed bags. On the first one, this is installation screws for the case and for the fan on the heatsink. Then the second bigger zip bag, you find the back plate for Intel and AMD CPUs, and the metal plates that help to install the cooler on top of the CPU, and a small bag of thermal paste. It is a generic thermal paste. This is quite common for the company Raijintek. They don't use specific brands, they just put on a thermal paste. I would recommend you to, anyway, not to use this paste. It's not so good. Just use your thermal paste of choice that you can find online or on computer shops. So here it is. The cooler is here inside. You take this protection in carton, and the cooler is right here. The fan is not attached to the cooler because the installation grommets are here in the small bag. And here is the fan. I will talk about this fan a little bit later because it's a very interesting fan. It's a new design. Actually, it's pretty interesting, but we'll talk about it later. Here's the cooler itself. I'm going to put it on the table like so, and then you have the installation manual or booklet. The installation booklet, it's as per Raijintek standards. It's a leaflet in several languages, European languages and international languages. Chinese and Russian are also included. And the cooler itself, as you can see, it's a tower cooler. It is anodized in black and reminds us of another cooler from Raijintek, which I won't name. And it's pretty lightweight. As you can see, the build quality is extremely good, but this is normal for a company like Raijintek. They have basically they have a very good quality assurance inside the company. What I do see though is that this particular cooler came with a little problem, and I'll show you what. As you can see, the edges, I don't know if you can check it. Let's see if I can grab it like this. There you go, you can see it. The edges of the last fin here, or the first fin of the heatsink, are a little bit bent down. This tips here, probably due to transport. They were basically hit against the fan during transport. So this is because the fan, I repeat, was not attached to the cooler inside the case. Sorry for the noise that you're hearing. They are renovating a house here nearby. So another thing that you can note is the base, which underneath the usual sticker removed prior to use, you can see a very well machined out base with the heat pipes. Sorry for the noise, guys. With the heat pipes that are visible on the base. So this is the direct touch technology. It's something very common nowadays because most of the heat pipe coolers do have this type of setup. The heat pipes are 3 long heat pipes. They are 8 millimeters wide, as you can see. They are anodized in black, just like the rest of the cooler, and they end on the top of the cooler. And on the top of the cooler, as you can see, it's the last fin is engraved with the Raijintek logo. It's very cool. And yeah, this is it. Oh, the cool thing about Raijintek is that in every single product they include a small sticker here with the serial of the product and a QR code. So basically they can track each and every single product that they ship out around the world with this code. So if you have any issues with Raijintek, it is something that we learned with their prior cooler, all-in-one cooler Triton. You just have to name the serial number of the product, and they will track down exactly to whom it was sent, where it was sold, and the whereabouts of the product. So this is it for the cooler. Now let's talk a little bit about the fan. The fan, as I said, is a little bit interesting because it is not a normal 120 fan. This is a 120 fan. Let's take a fan from Raijintek that comes usually with the Triton. It is here. This is their usual fan. On this particular fan, I cut the lead here because I needed to make it a little bit shorter. But anyway, this was the standard fan, and as you can see, it's a normal 120 fan with a square frame, very standard. This fan instead, the frame is not square anymore. The frame is conical shapes. It has a conical shape where the installation screws are supposed to go, so it's given the fan a very futuristic look. And the blades are transparent, and they have a very nice profile to it, a very interesting profile to it, which I will show you like that. As you can see, it's a multifaceted profile. And then the central hub, it's actually 2 pieces. One piece is the blades itself, and the other piece is a black cover, which you cannot remove, that covers the hub and where the logo is installed, is applied. On the other side, you can see here the hub is covered by a sticker with the specifications of the fan. With the specifications of the fan. It's a DC brushless fan. It's made in China, of course, with the European CE nomenclature. And then you can see the real specifications of the fan. This is DC 12 volt and 0.28 amps. Sorry. And then you can see the model number of the fan. Then, last but not least, the frame is a double frame. Yeah. It's a double frame. Basically, you have 2 frames in one, and the second frame is this internal frame here, this wide internal frame, which when you power the fan, and we will see that in just a minute, it helps distribute the light evenly. So it's a pretty cool product. And now let's see to how this product is supposed to go installed. So you have your cooler, you take your installation screws, let's use this old fan, and what you do inside the bag, you'll find this strangely shaped rubber grommets. These are the insulation grommets for the fan on top of the cooler. So how they work is sorry for the pause. How they work is that you have to first put the grommet inside. This nudges here on the fins, like so. You can see that's the result. I'm gonna just show one, and then you apply the fan, and the longer tip, you slide it inside the installation hole on the fan, like so, and then you just pull it from this side. There you go. And this is how you install the fan on top of the CPU cooler. Actually, I do not understand why they're not shipping the fan already installed on the cooler itself and the body itself, because this would have avoided the problem that I showed you before, that the tips of the final fin here were bent down a little bit, because during the shipment the fan moves if it's not attached to the body of the heatsink, and it just bent them over. It's not a problem. It won't cause any degradation in performance, obviously, but it's an aesthetical issue actually when you take it. So when you buy it, I know this is their budget version. It's not an expensive cooler at all, but still, it's not something that we were expecting from a company that takes a lot of pride on the quality of their products. So let's say that we hope that Raijintek revises their quality control on this matter. So there you have it. This is how you mount it on the cooler. I'm gonna leave it, not gonna leave it there dangling. I'm gonna install the other rubber pins. By the way, Raijintek included one extra pin in case you lose one, so you have 5 pins. So one is mounted, one is here, one is here, one is here, 4, and you have a 5th one here, if you can see it. So that's cool. Spares are always welcome. Sorry for the noise, guys. As I said, they're renovating an apartment here in the building, so this was not the best day for an unboxing video. And I'm not gonna edit this video at all. so you're gonna hear it. And there you go, it's as easy as that. You don't need screws to install the fan on the cooler. And as you can see, it's rather, well, it moves a bit. Obviously, being in rubber, the pins will avoid that the fan vibrates, or at least it causes noise during work, during functioning, due to vibrations. But still, it's a little bit, flimsy. It's not, tight against the cooler body. Actually, I'm not really convinced. Still, it won't fall off. Absolutely no. So whatever you do with the cooler, it won't fall off. And now, I guess you want to know how the cooler looks when it is powered on. So let's take a power supply that I modified. So here we are. This is the power supply with the adapter. So let's see to power up this puppy, and this is how it looks. As you can see, the LEDs are pretty bright, and the cooler is not so noisy, actually. The power supply is absolutely noiseless. You cannot hear it. The fan does emit a whoosh sound, but it's not so disturbing, not so annoying. And let's see exactly what's going on here. The LEDs are usually found on similar fans on the edge of the frame, embedded on the frame. While the frame of this fan is completely different, it doesn't have any material, basically. The LEDs are this time embedded inside the hub. So that is a very nice touch. It's a different approach, and honestly I think it's also a better approach because the light is spread out more evenly, and it will bounce off the white inner frame, as I explained before, and it will make the light bit more evident. So when you have the colored version, the red or the blue, you will see a very, very bright colored fan. The noise, it is audible at approximately 1 meter from you, but it's not so annoying. Absolutely. It doesn't vibrate so much thanks to the rubber pins, which is holding it with your finger. You should, if it vibrates, you will hear it, you will feel it, I mean, but it doesn't really vibrate at all thanks to the rubber grommets. And the airflow through the fence, that's pretty good. That's really pretty good. So it should do a very good job in cooling the CPU. There is some air leakage on the sides of the cooler, on the top of the cooler, and on the sides of the cooler, and on the bottom of the cooler, which is not a bad thing actually, because as you may think, a CPU cooler is usually designed not only to cool the CPU, but also to cool some of the components that surround the socket of the CPU. And this is a very important thing to take into consideration, especially near the base of the CPU cooler, where it touches the CPU heat spreader, sorry. because all around the socket of the CPU are the VRMs, the power modules of the CPU, which supply the CPU with power. And they, especially when you are stressing, when you're gaming or when you're overclocking, your CPU, they really grow hot. So this is not a cooler intended for overclocking purposes, because it doesn't, right from the look of it, I mean, it's lightweight. It has only 3 8mm pipes, so it's not a massive cooler that you say, okay, this is for my future overclocks. No, it is a budget cooler. It will surely do its job pretty well. We will check on the review, the test performance. But the fact that it leaks a little bit of air towards the bottom of the cooler, and thus towards the surrounding components of the motherboard, the surrounding components of the socket on the motherboard, sorry, it's a very good thing. It will help cooling them down, and so to make your overclock a little bit more stable, or your platform in all as a whole a little bit more stable. So there you go. This is the first look of this CPU cooler. The Leto from Raijintek. This is the W version, the white version, as you can see. I hope you like it, and check out the website because the review is going to come out pretty soon. Goodbye.